Yeah, and that great point that you bring that up. I wanted to touch on that as well. The influence that Saudi Arabia has, the growing influence that they have on football, especially even with the European clubs. I mean, just looking down the list here, they've signed now Ronaldo. They're looking like they're gonna sign ZH, Kante. They've signed Benzema. Looking like they're gonna sign Mendy, Koulibaly. Potentially now there's links to Partey, Modric, Ramos, Gundogan, and they even
Ruben
almost signed
Neves.
Messi. And they just signed Neves as well for what 47 million, I think. So it's a very interesting topic because obviously I think every country at this point wants to have more of a visual presence in the football world, and Saudi Arabia is no different, and they are doing it in slightly a similar way to the MLS. They are attracting players who already have a big market following. They already have a big name. They want to just pretty much bring eyes towards their league, and to be fair, I think they have been successful in that in the short term. Now the question though is, do you think? Because before I even raise the question, I want to make a quote. I want to read a quote from Alexander Seferin, I think he's the UEFA president or something along these lines. Some important figure in UEFA.
Another one of the corrupted figures in football, yes.
Okay, so he now says the system of buying players that almost ended their career is not the system that develops football. It was a similar mistake in China when they brought players who are at the end of their career. What's your take on this? Do you feel that from a fan perspective, which is more appealing? To watch a league that has upcoming young potential or big name stars that are just looking to see out their careers?
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, but this is what I said about Messi coming to America. Of course, Messi's a different beast, but signing a player at the end of their careers, yeah, it might boost the numbers and stuff, but I don't necessarily see it doing any wonders to the infrastructure or to the foundation of the football in that country. I mean, we have to take that comment with a grain of salt. Coming from a UEFA president, of course, UEFA perhaps feeling threatened by the emergence of the Saudi Arabian League. Although I think they want to join UEFA somehow. But I agree. I mean, I mentioned that about China too. You know, when they were signing the likes of Hulk, Oscar, Tevez, all these guys. I know it's a little different with China because China started regulating everybody, and there was just no money to spend. But again, where is China now? They still haven't made it to the World Cup. They're probably not going to unless they host it. So I agree. This is not the way to develop football. Although when you say young, I mean, I know you're probably mentioning the likes of, teenagers like 15, 16, 17. They grew up through the ranks, developed through them. But I mean, this Ruben Neves signing is, I think it could be big if this is a sign to follow something else. Um, I've read reports that Bernardo Silva is seriously considering a move to Saudi Arabia. He's only 28. Ruben Neves is 26. They're at the peak of their careers. I mean, I knew a little bit about Ruben Neves. I knew he wasn't the most ambitious player in the world. I mean, he captained Porto in the Champions League at 18. Then he subsequently made the move to a championship side, Wolves. So that kind of tells me a little bit about what his values are as a footballer. So maybe this will just be an outlier. But if that is a trend that continues, just like how Ronaldo started a trend of these top footballers going to Saudi Arabia, that is something to look out for, certainly.
Right. And you mentioned it even earlier. I think the comparison to China is not necessarily a fair one because, bro, you mentioned it. Messi is a different beast. Messi compared to Hulk and Oscar. No disrespect to Hulk and Oscar, but you're not in the same marketing bracket. Just simple as that.
By the way, that's the most disrespectful thing that's said in football. No disrespect, but I'm gonna disrespect the shit out of you in the next sentence.
No disrespect, but here comes the disrespect.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, but I mean, it's true. They're just not. It's not comparable, right? And then I'm just thinking about it from a fan's perspective, right? You're talking about looking at the youth development from a 15-year-old or 16-year-old coming up through the ranks. To me, like even when Theo, right? Theo comes on here and he will talk to us about friggin' Endrick before he even signed for Madrid. He was showing us Endrick. He showed me Anthony. Him and Matthias showed me Anthony before Anthony was who Anthony is now.
Anthony
So that's
dos
what
Santos?
yeah,
Like
the same
United.
one.
Oh,
The
okay.
United Anthony. They show me him. They show me all these young players who some make it, some don't make it, but that's kind of the fun in it because when the player does end up making it, you can say, yo, that's my baller. I found that baller first before anybody else. It's like, all right, you're just gonna watch Ronaldo. Everybody knows Ronaldo already. Everybody already supports Ronaldo. So you already have that loyalty factor, but then there's so much of an energetic side to it, an enthusiastic side to like finding these talents who nobody knows about, and you're the one finding and saying, yo, this youth is a baller, and then making the prediction that they can perform at the high levels in Europe, and then when they actually go and do it, incredible. I mean, that's incredible. So I think there's a challenge there for fans to decide which is it that they want to watch. Really and truly. Do they care about watching Benzema who's about to finish and retire, even though he's one of the greatest strikers to ever do it? Let's be real.
But I mean, unless you want to be a scout, how many of us are really going to the youth games and seeing, oh yeah, this guy's gonna make it big? When I mean, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that. They don't necessarily care about seeing a player break through the ranks. Of course, when it's your club, you love it. I'm sure you love the players that came through your own ranks, the likes of Saka. I mean, Smith Rose. I mean, who knows where he's gone? But I mean, same for me too. But I don't know if there's, and maybe that's because I don't live in and support my local team. Maybe that's why. But I just feel that for general public, general fans, the star name is more exciting to just simply go and watch. I get to see the best player that's ever played the game of football, and watch him live, and it's right there, right next to me, compared to he's 5,000 miles away and playing in a Champions League final against a team that is from a random town in France, So
Yeah, no, I'm more talking about I wasn't talking about live watching them in the stadium. Obviously, I think the big name player is gonna win every day where that's concerned. I'm just talking about watching from like a consistent from a religious standpoint almost. Literally every week watching what are you gonna decide to spend your time watching in football, right? What becomes more fulfilling to you when you watch these football matches? I'm not saying that you're going to be a scout to find every single talent out there and do that work. What I'm saying is when you do casually watch and you're chilling and you do find a baller that you say, yo, that you can actually play. And then you start to do your research on him. Yo, who is number 8 on Sao Paulo? And you start looking up, oh, it's this guy right here. And you get the research from that, and then you almost become more connected to that player and you want them to do well, and you start supporting them and you realize, yo, when they start to actually become good, even more, because you're like, yo, I called that shit from the past. I called that shit from years ago.
in terms of fulfilling, yes, I mean 100%. I could sit here and say, yeah, Messi's gonna take Inter Miami from 15th to fourth place because everybody knows he's probably gonna do well. So when it comes to fulfilling, yes, 100%. Exciting though, I would still probably go with watching a star player, even if it's at the end of their career. There's a reason why people pay so much money and fly to these countries to watch these guys in a summer friendly. I'm not that type of person, but I know a lot of people are.
Right. And I mean, I get it, right? I understand that there's that loyalty towards those big name players, and there always will be. when a Messi fan is there or Ronaldo fan is there, they go wherever that player goes. Every sport is like that. Even LeBron James has that kind of pull. Tom Brady has this kind of pull. But to me, there's just something a lot more exciting when I see a player who is like in the world, like a Messi. When you watch Messi young, he's not the Messi yet, but it's like you're watching the real raw Messi of who he was when he was young. And you can find that next Messi who that player could even potentially be better than Messi in the future and be the Messi that everybody was saying, yo, we need to spend all this money to go and fly out to watch Messi. When in reality, you were there watching him before he was even costing this much money. So you just saved money by watching Messi when he was younger. Or like, who Messi would have been in that time. You see what I'm saying?
So, so who's the next Messi? Who's the Sao Paulo number 8? You tell
Who
us.
is that next Messi? All right, the next Messi to me is Bukayo Saka. The
Oh
next
boy.
Messi. The next Messi.
The closest thing about him to Messi is his height. That's about it.
No, you mean, bro? The man, and the man will have the left foot, bro. He has a left foot like Messi.
No, bro. Nobody's got the left foot like Messi. Come on.
That's all we have time for today. Guys, thanks for tuning in as always. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Remember to subscribe, to leave comments, and share with your friends. Follow us on social media at FOTBpod. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, and most importantly, don't forget to turn on those notifications. Join us again next time as we discuss the highly anticipated upcoming Premier League action. Thanks again as always. See you then.